Now, we have here our table from our previous example, and that works very well for us. There's a couple of additional tags that HTML5 provides that give us a little bit more control. Now, they don't give us a lot of control right now, but if we use some JavaScript libraries, for example, to maybe scroll it within a page or do some extra CSS styling, these tags become very helpful. And because of it, a lot of our libraries and proper format of an HTML table kind of almost necessitates their use in a lot of cases. So let's take a quick look at those. The very first row that we have here with our days, that would be our table header. And that's going to be kind of the head of that table. And so I can come over here, and if I scroll up, I can create a new tag, thead, and that's short for table header. And I'm going to go ahead and use that to surround that first whole row. Now, the rows below it, in our case, are the tbody. And if we have a table head, thead, then we definitely need the table body or tbody tag. This is going to be the rest of these tags. And I'm just going to set it up like that. And in a lot of cases, these are the only two extra tags that we'll need. And I can use CSS styling or JavaScript libraries to do a lot more, and they're looking for and expecting that. And so the table body is where we find most of the main content or the meat of our table, if you would. The table head helps describe it. And if I have a really large table, I will sometimes have a tfoot at the bottom. And the tfoot serves a similar purpose to the thead. I can do one of two things in our tfoot. Number one is I could put my labels once again down on my tfoot. That way I don't have to scroll up. Maybe I scroll from the bottom up and then over in order to find my information. Makes it just a little bit easier. Or I can put aggregate information. So if I had a list of maybe days in a month and then how much sales I had per store, something like that, I could aggregate that information and average that information, do some other things like that. If you think about Excel and how it provides information with reports and things of that nature, you can start to kind of see how you use thead, tbody, and tfoot. So that's a pretty standard thing. Tfoot is not required and is by far the least widely used tag of that table tag set. If I come here with my thead and tbody and reload, you'll notice that nothing really changes. And that's because by default it is more of a grouping and organizational tag. If you think about tags like your main tag, your article tag, and a lot of those, you remember how those were very organizational in matter. So they're not changing how the table looks. It's organizing the information, which makes it easier for things like screen readers and then JavaScript libraries, CSS libraries, etc. when we're working with them. Now, there is one other tag that we can include, and once again, you don't see it used a lot because a lot of times it's done outside of the table tag or it's done in conjunction with knowing what the whole page is about and it's described inside the page. But that is to provide a caption. And typically what you'll see is either at the top or the bottom, so just after the opening table tag or just before the closing table tag, you will see a caption. So in this case, it's where is my professor? If I reload this, you'll notice it has a small caption up above. It's not really that great and helpful of information. It's kind of small, so you'll need to use CSS to fix that, but it gives us an idea of how we can look at our information. And so this is really good for providing information for us because now we get to look at this a little bit more detail. It gives us a little information that we can use for screen readers and things like that because they have a hard time with tables. So that's why we're going to use these additional tags.